call to order the Sparta City Council meeting for September 9th, 2024 with a roll call.
Mayor Lawson.
Here.
Council members Abbott.
Here.
Vanderwell. Here. Anderson.
Here.
Bybee. Here. Dare.
Here.
City Attorney Duncan.
Here.
City Manager Louthen.
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Okay, and then we get our invocation by our own Christopher Dare.
Would you please stand, if you're able? Lord, we come to you and we lift up our region right now, and particularly that which is dealing with fire, smoke, and loss. Thank you for our firemen. Thank you for our police and all those, even ambulance, who are running towards the danger. We lift up these families in your name, Lord, even as they walk through loss, but also the mental portion. Lord, I pray that as a region during this time, we come together to help those in need. And Lord, we also find our moments of thankfulness for those things that are most important. Please be with our decisions here today and for our region. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Mr. Dana, I'm going to have you lead us in the pledge since you're off to serve your country soon. Let's move on to public comment.
Good afternoon, William T. Stewart for the record. I think everybody's noticed ash falling on their houses and on their vehicles for the past couple days. The fire in Davis Creek, like Christopher Dare said so eloquently, prayers go out to them. Families of people have lost properties. 12 houses right now, I believe, have been lost. Over 6,000 acres have been burned. It's a combination both of the Humboldt-Tybee Forest and also Truckee Meadows that are in unified command. These are things that are going on a lot more frequently around here. The Sullivan Fire, the 395 fire, the Verdi fire. What can we do to prevent these fires from happening? As Ben Franklin once said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And that's one of the things I think that we need to do a better job of. I know we have a CWPP that's being in the process of being implemented, working with the Sparks Fire Department and HOAs throughout the area. We have to be able to try to get money to those local homeowners associations and large landowners, working with the feds because they own 80% of our state. That's a big way to we can hopefully make this happen. And then not to mention the insurance problems, because as happened in California, all these large wildland fires are impacting insurance, and a lot of these people can't get insurance. Paradise has burned up a couple times. Same thing in Nevada. We're going to have the same problems that we have in California if we don't get out in front of this thing. The California Fair Plan does not work. Look into it. We don't want that here. What can we do? I talked about the CWPP, working with local governments, talking with our federal elected officials. There is money out there. There's grants available all over the place. We have to be able to apply for those and also be able to get them, because we have to go in with 17 other western states to get those grants. Working with the Nevada Division of Forestry, having that relationship with the state, and just also trying to talk to our elected officials, Mark Amadei, Rosen, and Catherine Cortez Mastros. I'm trying to talk to everybody I can to try to get money for our local HOAs. So I'm asking you guys again to help me pass the word on to the people above you, your federal elected officials, all the people around here. What can we do to bring more money into our community to make sure that we don't have continuing wildfire and continuing loss of life? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else in the public wishing to speak at this time? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to number 5, approval of the agenda. And I don't have, my meeting's not up on my screen. It says not started. Oh, no. I started, but the machine didn't.
It's you, sir. Let's try that.
Okay, there we go. Hey, all right, looking for a motion, Mr. Anderson.
Move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Mr. Abbott,
Second.
got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Approval of the minutes. Looking for any additions, corrections, or a motion. Ms. Bybee.
I move to approve the minutes of the Sparks City Council meeting for August 26, 2024 as submitted.
Mr. Dare.
I second that motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, let's move on to 7.1, Proclamation Hispanic Heritage Month. I understand we have some folks here. Come on down, and Ms. Bybee's going to read your proclamation, and then hang around for a second. We're going to ask questions, and we'll take a picture. So the millions of people that watch Sparks City Council on YouTube, will be able to see your smiling faces.
Okay. Whereas the City of Sparks is honored to observe National Hispanic Heritage Month by celebrating the culture, heritage, and countless contributions of those whose ancestors were indigenous to North America, including Mexico, as well as those who came from Central America, South America, Spain, and the Caribbean. And whereas what began in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week under President Lyndon Johnson was expanded by President Ronald Reagan in 1988 to cover a 30-day period starting on September 15th and ending October 15th. And whereas the date of September 15th is significant because it is the anniversary of independence for the Latin American countries of Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua, and Mexico and Chile celebrate their Independence Days on September 16th and September 18th, respectively. And whereas during the Hispanic Heritage Month, we are all encouraged to connect with Hispanic heritage and community and to recognize the need to ensure diverse voices and perspectives are welcomed in the decision-making processes, therefore to build a stronger community and a stronger nation. And whereas we recognize and honor the many ways that Hispanic members of the community have enriched the fabric of our society, and we rededicate ourselves to address the lack of equal and equitable access to opportunity they may still face. And whereas in the city of Sparks, the Hispanic population represents a wide range of nationalities and backgrounds, all of whom make positive contributions to educational, nonprofit, government, and business sectors, which reflect the remarkable diversity of the American people. And whereas Hispanic members of the community continue their rich traditions of significant and diverse contributions to the cultural, educational, economic, social, and political vitality of the city of Sparks, therefore, on behalf of Mayor Ed Lawson, Mayor of Sparks, do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th as Hispanic Heritage Month.
Give us your name and say a few words if you'd like.
I'm Jafeth Sanchez, and I have with me a colleague.
I'm Bernardo Aguilar, and I'm the program coordinator for the Latino Research Center.
Thank you. I'm the director of the Latino Research Center at our University of Nevada, Reno. It is the only one of its kind in the entire state. Just for some important insights there, we're really proud to accept this proclamation. Could not have said it any better in terms of the details and the reasoning behind the efforts behind Hispanic Heritage Month. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here to accept that proclamation. It truly is a reflection of the ability and opportunity to recognize the contributions of many Latino communities, the countries, and the diversity that comes from being American. So thank you.
Do you have anything to add?
No, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Okay. Go ahead, Charlene.
So during this month, do you have any special events or things that the public would be invited to or participate in during the National Heritage Month?
Yes, thank you for that question. Our university does have an entire Hispanic Heritage Month calendar, if you will, and this week is actually Hispanic Serving Institutions Week. Across the entire Nevada system of higher education, all institutions have come together to celebrate those that are either designated with the federal name of Hispanic Serving or are emerging. Our University of Nevada, Reno is an emerging Hispanic Serving institution, and we have UNLV, for example, is already a Hispanic serving institution. The primary criteria behind that is that at least 25% of the students identify Hispanic, Latino, or other heritage background that ties with that. And half are considered needy. That's the federal term for it, students. So it still reflects the ability to serve those who come from underrepresented backgrounds from a financial standpoint. And during Hispanic Heritage, Hispanic Serving Institution Week, we have every institution is carrying out an event or activity at the University of Nevada, Reno. We have a culminating event this Friday on Zoom. We're going to be releasing it through our Latino Research Center social media, and it will allow everyone across the state to join and learn more about what it means to be a Hispanic serving institution and how that's tied into the landscape of the University of Nevada, Reno in particular. For Hispanic Heritage Month, there is a kickoff event on Monday, the 16th. It is called Tu Bienvenida, which is a welcoming. I take no credit for the planning of it, even though the Latino Research Center has been the origin of it. We now have at our university a director of Latinx Hispanic Community Relations. So he is planning all of the events throughout the month in collaboration with partners internally or externally to our institution. But that will kick off the one that links students, community, and faculty and staff together. It proceeds into the 21st, which is the university's Vamos Pack game. We have folkloric dancers. We're recognizing business leaders, community leaders. There's mariachi playing during the game, and also includes through the Nevada Latino Alumni Chapter experiences through the row. You may have seen that as well, so it's all aligned. And it goes into the university also has Family Weekend, which is starting the 19th through the 22nd. So we'll continue this effort, and it will conclude a little bit beyond Hispanic Heritage Month, which is going to be October 17th. We're leading a forum on workforce and Latino family financial wellness. So you'll see some of those reports coming your way because we're right now focusing on disseminating the information. It is a completely free event for the community, for leaders who are working to ensure that we do have access to building Latino wealth in our areas, because we are currently more likely to develop and begin small businesses, and something that we need to capitalize on more in terms of ensuring that it benefits all entities in that endeavor. And it's funded by Greater Nevada Credit Union, so it will be free to anybody who wants to join. We will have Treasurer Conine joining as part of the panelists for that, so. Thank you.
So all this information on the public events people could attend, is that on the university website?
They are.
Where would
the
they find the
president-
info?
Yes, the president releases one list that has a lot of those organizations or events, and the ones like Vamos Pack that are largely attended by community members, they are on the university's calendar. And then we also try to promote it through different areas, either the university's Multicultural Center, our Latino Research Center, and there's also Vamos Pack social media. If anyone on your team wants to tag into those, I encourage you to do that.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you for your
Step
support. We're
over for us.
honored.
We'll take a picture and
Okay,
post it to the millions of our viewers.
thank you. Woo!
Vamos Pack.
Vamos Pack.
I
Thank
like
you.
it. All right, 7.2 is Hunger Action Month. Paul, do you have that one? Do we have anyone here for that? Come on, the same drill as the last time.
All right. Whereas hunger and poverty are issues of serious concern in the United States and the state of Nevada and the city of Sparks, and whereas raising awareness about the need to combat hunger in every part of the community is an essential first step toward providing additional resources that residents in the city of Sparks need. And whereas the City of Sparks is committed to working with the Food Bank of Northern Nevada in educating people about the role and importance of food banks in addressing hunger and the need to devote more resources and attention to hunger issues. And whereas more than 29,000 individuals in the city of Sparks relied on food provided by Food Bank of Northern Nevada in 2023. And whereas the Food Bank of Northern Nevada distributed more than 2.5 million pounds of food through the network of food pantries, partner agencies, kids cafe sites, and other community organizations within the city of Sparks. And whereas food banks across the country, including the Food Bank of Northern Nevada, will host events through the month of September to bring awareness and attention to encourage involvement in efforts to end hunger in their local community. Now therefore, Ed Lawson, Mayor of the City of Sparks, Nevada, do hereby proclaim September 2024, thank you, as Hunger Action Month. All right.
There we go. Give us your name for the record, say a few words.
Thank you so very much. My name is Shane Piccini. I manage government, we're all doing this today, government affairs for the Food Bank of Northern Nevada, and we cannot thank you enough for the support that and the partnership that the city has shown us over the many decades, from our Audi project to helping us feed kids during the summer to anything that we have needed at all, at any time. All of you have graciously been there, and we are forever thankful for that. And you know, just as a whole in our service area, we're serving about 155,000 people in a month.
I have a question. Can you give us an update on your Audi project? Let us know how that's coming along.
I should have gotten that update from Nicole before I got here. I do know that they're working on the architectural plans right now, and they're working on getting some funds pulled together for landscaping. But I would be happy to ask Nicole to actually give you a real update on what that project looks like.
Okay. Mr. Dare.
Thanks for being here, and I just want you to send a message back to everybody. Great job. You guys do a fantastic job for our community. But the best part that I've seen more and more as of the years lately is just the collaboration with everybody. It goes so much farther, and I would just say if there's anybody out there that's looking for a place to plug in, I think you guys do a great job on that. So thanks.
Thank you for that. We do have volunteer opportunities at some of our direct service sites, our mobile harvest sites, summer food sites within the city limits, so you don't have to trek out to the middle of nowhere to volunteer with us.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. Well, thank you very much. And
My pleasure. Thank
we'll
you.
get a picture and for our millions of viewers,
Hardly wait.
or 10.
10,000.
Okay, let's move on to proclamation, Surgical Technologists Week. Come on up, ladies. And Donald is going to try to read these Latin words.
I think we got it. I practiced.
All right.
You have it memorized?
Yeah. I got Wes next to me. He's going to help me. He'll hold my hand. Thank you, ladies. Whereas the role of surgical technologists began during World War II as the need for perioperative personnel became overwhelming and has since evolved into its own separate allied health field. And whereas surgical technologists are entrusted with the lives and well-being of patients and provide a critical service before, during, and after surgical procedures. And whereas over 90,000 surgical technologists nationwide are integral parts of the surgical teams committed to providing the highest quality surgical care to patients. And whereas surgical technologists are responsible for the applications of sterile and aesthetic technique in the operating room, ensuring that equipment functions properly and facilitating safe and effective surgical procedures. And whereas surgical technologists strive to prevent life-threatening surgical site infections and maximize patient safety. And whereas certified surgical technologists graduate from an accredited program and receive certification conferred by the National Board of Surgical Technology and Surgical Assisting based on passage of the national examination. And whereas the surgical technologist motto, Augur Primo, means patient first, and reflects surgical technologists' total commitment to patient safety and advocacy. Now therefore, on behalf of Ed Lawson, the Mayor of the City of Sparks, Nevada, do hereby proclaim September 15th through September 21st, 2024 as Surgical Technologist Week, and urge all my fellow citizens to join me in acknowledging the important role of surgical technologists in the care and recovery of their patients. We honor these men and women.
Give us your name for the record and go ahead and say a few words.
I'm sorry?
Give us your name first for the record.
My name is Kay Keenan. I'm a certified surgical technologist. I've been certified for 35 years and been in the OR for 50. Survived. I'm very proud to be a certified surgical technologist. I worked very hard for the certification. I graduated from Illinois Masonic Hospital in Chicago in 1973 and have been working at it ever since. I retired from Renown in 2018. Actually, it was 2021, I'm sorry, and started teaching for the Colleges of Southern Nevada. There are 2 accredited programs in the state of Nevada, both of which are in Las Vegas. We started in 2017, we started a satellite program here in Reno so that those that wanted to enter the profession didn't have to move to Las Vegas to do so. It's a 2-year program, and they come out, the students come out with an associate degree. And part of their program is they can't officially graduate the program until they sit for certification through the NBSTSA. Nationally recognized, luckily, our certification will go state to state. Like nursing used to have, the word escapes me now, reciprocity. Once they passed with a high enough score, the board certification went basically state to state. You didn't have to take another board, which I really was sorry to see that be discontinued. It would be much easier for healthcare facilities to hire people if they had that national reciprocity. Should probably talk to Senator Rosen about trying to get that reinstituted. But our certification does go state to state. Once you pass the test, you're a certified surgical technologist, and our association, our national association, is now every 2 years instead of every 4 years, but we recertified or maintain certification by continuing education credits. So we're very active with going to our national conference is wonderful for supplying credits and networking with people, and with the military, so it's sometimes with other countries. So anyway, that's us. We're the ones standing next to the doctor going, no, use this instead.
And I'm Lana Wright. I'm certified surgical technologist, nowhere near as experienced as Kay, but I'm getting there. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you guys. Any questions?
You're very welcome.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to take your picture with our linguist, Councilman Abbott.
Thanks for telling us the Augur out. I would have never got that right.
Even say
We have a website, we have Instagram,
Nice.
Facebook. Yeah. Oh, okay, great, thank you.
The age of our current system, we're having issues getting parts and service. It's quite dated. This was budgeted for in FY '25. And I'd like to thank the city attorney's office for helping us with go through the contract and make it where it's something that is worth bringing forward. Staff recommends approval for this, and I'm available for any questions.
Questions from the council?
Question. So Jeff, I totally understand it. Obviously, if it's end of life 25 years ago, that's not such a bad deal. We've gotten our money's worth there. But the camera system, is that a part of the badging? Can you explain? Or is it different security cameras, or is it part of the badging system itself?
So the City of Sparks badging system, it also includes the cameras. The current system out at Tumwharf does not, so we are going to bring both in with actually replacing the badging system. So the cameras are not going to be changed out, they're just going to be brought into the new system, into the Gentex system that City of Sparks uses.
Okay, and these are security cameras?
Some are security, some are safety, so.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
I have one question.
Mr. Dare?
I know we're updating just for sake of conversation. How long do we think what we have will then last in the future? I know IT shifts, but is this something that we'll be able to keep for some time?
Yes, the system itself will be in place until it is no longer supported. The cameras themselves are not being upgraded, so they will be replaced as they reach end of life, and we are going to work on maintaining the new system on a timeline as opposed to just hoping it doesn't fail.
Thank you.
Anyone else? So the guy that's out there sketching is going to lose his job, huh? I'm just kidding. All right, I'm looking for a motion if there's no further questions.
I'll make a
Paul?
motion. Move to approve the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility hardware, software through the contract services AC 6062 from TNR Communications Incorporated in the amount of $134,567.27, with the City of Sparks share being $51,350.87.
Looking for a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. 9.4, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of an agreement AC 6061 for an information security services and maintenance from Summit Partners at Lumen in the amount of $122,312 and no cents.
Good afternoon, Mayor Lawson and members of council. I'm Ty Reed, your IT security manager, for the record. I'm here today seeking approval for the IT security and maintenance contract with Adlumin and Summit Partners. This will be replacing Arctic Wolf. IT staff evaluated potential solutions from security peer organizations and spoke to sister government agencies regarding those solutions to find the best fit. We figured we went with Adlumin because the implementation and use. It was also budgeted in fiscal year '25. Staff recommends approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council? Not, I'm looking for a motion.
I move to approve an agreement AC 6061 for an information security services and maintenance from Summit Partners at Lumen in the amount of $122,312.
Thank you.
For a
I'll
second?
second.
A second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Ty. Public hearing. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is public hearing, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of the Community Development Block Grant Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report for Program Year 4, Fiscal Year 2023-2024, for submittal to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. I'm Casey Chavlin, Administrative Analyst with your Community Services Department. Today, I'm before you to present on the Community Development Block Grant Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, or the CAPER. We are required to submit a CAPER annually to HUD, and this year we're reporting on Program Year 4 of our approved 5-year consolidated plan. The CAPER provides outcomes for the activities that we have outlined in our annual action plan and helps measure the success of each program and the use of funding. In FY 23-24, the City of Sparks received $675,929 in new entitlement funding. We rolled forward $299,685 from previous years and had program income of $125,500. Program income is income or money that the city receives when a participant of the deferred loan program has sold their home and repaid that loan. This funding is specifically to be used for future deferred loans. Additionally, the city had $591,252 of CDBG CV funds, which brought us to a total of $1,692,366 to be possibly used in FY 23-24. In our annual action plans, the city identifies activities that we will participate in. And in FY 23-24, that included the Housing Rehabilitation Deferred Loan Program, which assists low to moderate income homeowners make repairs to their homes, including replacement of roofs, HVAC systems, window replacements, amongst many other activities. We also had the Fair Housing activity, which supports the Silver State Fair Housing Council to support their goal of providing education to the community on fair housing rights. We had the Planning and Administration activity, which includes the administration of all CDBG programs, the Housing Rehabilitation Administration for the Housing Rehabilitation Deferred Loan and Emergency Repair Grant programs, and CDBG CV activities. The CDBG CV funds were funds that were made available to prepare, prevent, or respond to the coronavirus pandemic. And in FY 22-23, we identified two activities within those funds, the first being the food bank activity and the second being the business and employment assistance activity. In FY 23-24, $231,252 were allocated and expended through the Food Bank of Northern Nevada to support the purchase of food to be distributed in low to moderate income neighborhoods throughout the city of Sparks. Additionally, $360,000 were allocated to the employment and business assistance activity. Of that, $29,836.86 was actually expended. We partnered with two agencies for that activity, but those two agencies found it difficult to tie the assistance that they provided with the coronavirus pandemic, so it was ultimately agreed upon that any remaining funding would be returned to the city for a new activity to be identified at a later date. In FY 23-24, Amber Sosa, our city engineer, and her team continued to work on pedestrian improvement projects, which improves the curbs, sidewalks, gutters, and accessibility in low to moderate income neighborhoods. Ultimately, they expended $488,769.32. Additionally, $75,909 were expended through the Eddie House's operations of providing services and shelter to homeless youth within the Washoe County. And in summary, the city of Sparks expended $784,520.77 of CDBG entitlement funds, $261,088.86 of CDBG CV funds, which left us with a total expenditure of $1,045,609.63 in FY 23-24. To conclude my presentation, I've included a recommended motion on the screen, which might come in handy today. And just as a quick reminder, this is a public hearing, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have first.
First, questions from the council? Nope.
I just want to say that I love that we get to give money back to the community, and you guys find all kinds of ways, so thank you. And I know it has to be creative because CDBG money is not easy to find ways, so keep it up and keep pushing forward, but good job.
Thank you.
And just so you know, they put public hearing is highlighted all over my copy. Everywhere. So this is a public hearing. Anyone in the public wishing to speak about this item? If not, then we'll bring it back, and we are looking for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I move to approve the Community Development Block Grant Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report for Program Year 4, Fiscal Year 2023 to 2024 for submittal to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Looking for a second? Mr. Anderson.
I'll make a second to the motion.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, second reading, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the second reading, public hearing, discussion, and possible adoption of Bill Number 2821, an ordinance creating the City of Sparks, Nevada Special Improvement District Number 1, Five Ridges, ordering a street project, storm sewer project, sanitary sewer project, drainage project, and water project within the City of Sparks, Nevada, and providing other matters related thereto.
Martini.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. John Martini, your Assistant City Manager. I'm joined by our CFO, Jeff Kronk. In the bullpen. As the mayor, or as the clerk introduced, we're discussing Bill 2821. We'll also be discussing two subsequent bills that Jeff will cover should you approve this one. Mr. Mayor, I'm going to beg for your forgiveness ahead of time. This has been a long journey to get here. There is quite a bit of background that needs to be put into the record. When I'm finished with that, we'll then move on to the specifics of Bill 2821. So, walking back, in April of 2021, the Five Ridges Development Company petitioned the City of Sparks for the formation of a special improvement district to finance off-site and on-site improvements necessary to bring the development into being. On January 24th, 2022, the council approved Resolution 3396, finding the petition in the public's interest, and gave direction to the city manager to move forward with the developer to negotiate a development financing agreement in conformance with NRS 271-710. On March 18th of this year, the City Council approved a Resolution 3834, which was our development financing agreement. And inside the DFA, the city agreed to do some things to effectuate the DFA and bring forward the SID. Those four things are to create a special improvement district, which is the bill that's in front of you right now. Order the project to be acquired and improved. That's also in Bill 2821. To finance the cost of the project through issuance of bonds. That's the third bill that Jeff will cover. And to levy assessments against each of the property inside the district to pay for the bonds. That will be the following ordinance that Jeff will present. On June 24th, just not that long ago, each of these ordinances were read into the record as a first reading. And then on public hearings were set for July 22nd. If the council will recall, at the July 22nd meeting, staff identified there were some issues with regard to conformance to the DFA specific to the acquisition of right-of-way for one of the projects, which is Highland Ranch. At that meeting, the council did continue each of the three ordinances to today, and here we are. So in that time, I'm pleased to let you know the developer was very successful in negotiating with the off-site property owners for the acquisition of the right-of-way. The developer provided the city and our bond counsel with copies of the agreements to acquire that right-of-way. Those were reviewed by bond counsel. They were found to be satisfactory, and Jeff and I were informed that they suffice to bring the bonds to market. So here we go today. With that background covered, let's talk about Bill 2821. There are 13 sections to the bill. I will cover the pertinent ones. In Section 2, the council will create improvement district designated as the City of Sparks, Nevada Special Improvement District Number 1, Five Ridges, for the purposes of acquiring infrastructure required for the Five Ridges development. Pursuant to NRS 271-325, the council does declare in this action that the public convenience and necessity require the creation of the district. The creation of the district is economically sound and feasible, and the market value of each identified lot, tract, and parcel of land in the district will be increased by an amount directly attributable to the project for which the assessment is to be made. In Section 3, the council orders the project to be acquired. It includes each of 4 projects listed in the development financing agreement. Those are project number 1 is Five Ridges Parkway, Antelope Ridge Parkway. Project 2 is the Highland Ranch Parkway Phase 1. Project number 3 is Highland Ranch Parkway Phase 2. And project number 4, of course, is the water transmission mains. Section 4 states that the project included in Section 3, which I just reviewed with you, will be considered as one construction unit. All costs of the project will be defrayed by assessments levied against properties included in the district with a principal amount not to exceed $11,845,000 plus interest. The assessments are payable to the city of Sparks in semi-annual payments by the property owners on dates and amounts set forth in the following ordinance, that would be the assessment ordinance. In Section 6, the council authorizes and directs the officers of the city to take all actions necessary to effectuate this ordinance. In Section 8, the engineer is authorized by the council to approve all requests from the developer for payment by the city for acquisitions of the project, and authorizes the city treasurer, in case you didn't know it, that's Jeff Kronk, to make such payments to the developer. Section 13 sets the effective date of the ordinance to the date of its approval, which will be today, should you choose to approve it. I will remind you, Mr. Mayor, this is a public hearing. Yep. Both Jeff and I are available if you have any questions.
All right, questions from the council? Been a long time coming.
Yes, sir.
All right, this is a public hearing. Anyone in the public wishing to speak on this item? It's only been around for 7 years now. All right, we'll bring it back to the dais, and I am looking for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion, sir.
Mr. Dare.
Are you guys going to put it up, or do you want me just to go for it?
Councilman Dare, the good thing about this one, if I may, since it's a bill, you can simply move to adopt Bill 2821.
Thank you. I like that.
Yep.
I move to adopt Bill number 2821.
Got a motion. I'm looking for a second. Mr. Anderson?
I'll second the motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Go get him, Jeff.
All right, good afternoon, Mayor Lawson and members of the
Hold on.
city council. I'll
Hold
wait
on.
until you read it.
Hold on.
Just getting so excited, I
I'm the
couldn't help
new and
myself.
organized Mayor Lawson here. Madam
I'm
Clerk,
impressed.
10.3.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is second reading, public hearing, discussion, and possible adoption of Bill number 2822, an ordinance concerning the City of Sparks, Nevada Special Improvement District Number 1, Five Ridges, assessing the cost of local improvements against the accessible property benefited by the local improvements and providing other matters related thereto.
Okay. Now, it's your turn, Jeff.
Now. Good afternoon, Mayor Lawson and members of City Council. I am Jeff Kronk, your Chief Financial Officer for the record. These three ordinances, if with your permission, I'd like to talk about the last two combined because they really do go hand in hand, the three together, and a lot of the items that are in the sections are repetitive. So this next one, the current ordinance, Bill number 2822 in front of you for consideration, is the assessment ordinance, and as was explained early in the creation ordinance, the assessment ordinance just establishes the assessments on the parcels that benefit from the infrastructure, from the approved project improvements that are happening. Those will happen and be collected over a period of 30 years in order to pay off the principal and interest that would be applicable once you approve Bill number 2823, the third ordinance. That would be the bond ordinance. So the bond ordinance is going to be paid for, again, from the assessments that were established by the assessment ordinance. So both of those are in aggregate of $11,845,000 in total. The bonds are not a debt of the city, and they will be paid with those assessments over a period of 30 years. Now, we don't know the details of the bonds because this is a negotiated sale, and we're looking to sell them in around mid-October sometime and hopefully close the bond sale in early November. It looks like our time frame. So Market, I think I've explained that to you in previous bond sales. The market is very dynamic, and we establish those, what the rates are going to be, really right before we sell them. So we don't have the details for the bonds. However, I think the key takeaway is that these are not debts of the city at all. They will not be paid from any revenue source, if you will, from the city. These will all be paid from the assessments that are established in the first ordinance, 2640. So with that, I would be happy to answer any questions, but that is the long and the short of it.
Questions from the council? Mr. Anderson?
Yeah, actually have a question on the timing of the sale. What all goes into the decision of when to pull the trigger, so to speak?
It's a negotiated sale, so just to draw a contrast, if you will, with our fire bonds, which was the most recent one that we did, that was a public bid. So that was a much longer and more structured timeline because we're opening it out to potentially different investors. This is what's called a negotiated sale with the underwriter. So it really depends on the process of getting all of the necessary documentation out to their standards. And that's when we're thinking it's going to be around mid-October. Again, it's a little more art than science as far as all the documentation that we have to create and approve. But the actual negotiation is with one agency.
Okay.
Does that?
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Ms. Bybee?
So Jeff, on the first one, on the assessment ordinance, do we have a ballpark idea of how much, I know it's going to depend, each property is going to be worth a different amount. Is it per dollar of assessed value and that'll be paid by the homeowners who purchase their homes, kind of like your HOA is tied into your purchase price? Do we have a ballpark on what that looks like? And obviously that has to be disclosed to people when they're purchasing.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, from my perspective, these are going to be paid back from whomever is the purchaser of the or owner, I guess I should say, the owner of the parcel at the moment. So how much it is per parcel will really change over the period of time as those parcels are subdivided and developed. I do see the developer in here. He might have a better, recommendation as to what might go on in the future. But the key takeaway is that this will be as the development, as those parcels are subdivided, as they're built out. We're scheduled to go over 1,200 parcels, but that's going to be a period of time. Until that happens, each parcel owner will pay the amount of the assessment that's established with the assessment roll that's approved today.
Councilwoman Bybee, I think directly to your question, an example. So as we know, Lennar has already subdivided their building homes. If you look in the assessment roll, you'll see on those parcels that are already getting homes built on them, they range between about $7,000 to $9,000.
Okay. And the other parcels, it's as homes are built on them so in the meantime, the developer, if it has a parcel that doesn't have homes on it yet, is the developer who's purchased the parcels to build the homes paying that amount, or does it not get paid until someone buys the home and they're paying that assessment?
If you look at the areas that have not been final mapped, they are large parcels today.
Right.
So for instance, one of those parcels has an assessment of $780,000 on it. Once approved today,
okay,
whoever owns that parcel, QK LLC is one of the owners, that will be their assessment.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for the clarification.
I'll piggyback on that just to, so you know the mechanics. The assessments are going to be collected twice a year, and then the debt service will be paid twice a year. So really, whoever is on record of being that parcel owner, whatever parcels are out there that are attributable, whether they're subdivided or not at that time, when it comes time to make that collection, we're going to make the collections in every April and October. So at that time, we're going to look at it. So it's going to be a little bit of work, as these things get divided out over the next couple of years to determine who the owners are.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that clarification.
Mr. Dare, anything? Anyone else? That was my question too, is how's the homeowner pay it? They just write you a check?
Yeah, likely what we'll end up doing, there'll be a number of different ways. Once this gets more established, we're probably going to establish a lockbox because there's going to be a lot of parcels that we're going to have to manage this. And we're going to work with a firm that does this, because they have a lot more resources, and so we're going to pay them a fee that are not from Sparks resources. Again, this will be paid from the fee from the people who are paying the assessments to collect that and assess the bill or issue the bills and so forth.
Yeah, I know that question's going to get asked almost immediately is, how do I pay this? All right.
They'll be billed. I mean, just like they'll get a bill every twice a year, every April and October.
All right. Any other questions from the council? All right, this is a public hearing. Anyone in the public wishing to speak on this item? Bill?
Things like that.
We'll get answer after. This is public comment, not public discourse. We can answer afterwards for you, Bill. Thank you. Anyone else in the public wishing to speak at this time? All right. Bring it back to the dais, and we're looking for a motion.
I'm ready to make a motion, sir.
Yeah.
I make a motion to adopt Bill number 2822.
That was it?
That's what I've been told.
Mr. Abbott?
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. 10.4, Madam Clerk, second reading.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is second reading, public hearing, discussion, and possible adoption of Bill number 2823, an ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale by the city of its Special Improvement District Number 1, Five Ridges Local Improvement Bonds, Series 2024, in the maximum aggregate principal amount of $11,845,000, approving the form of certain documents with respect to such bonds, ratifying action taken by city officers toward the issuance of such bonds, and providing other matters related thereto.
Okay. You have anything else to add, Jeff?
No further comments.
Okay. Do you have any questions from the council? All right. Then this is a public hearing. Anyone in the public wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the dais, and we're looking for a motion.
I move to adopt Bill number 2823.
Looking for a second.
I'll make the second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. 11.1, second reading, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is second reading, public hearing, discussion, and possible action on Bill number 2825 to amend Sparks Municipal Code, Section 20.02.013 and Chapter 20.03 to establish an expedited process for the consideration of projects for affordable housing as mandated by Assembly Bill 213.
Okay. Sienna.
Hold on just a moment, Mr. Mayor. I'm looking for
Oh, sorry.
council presentations.
We're doing everything analog today.
Yeah. Sorry, Madam Clerk. I uploaded this earlier, but I'm not seeing it in the folder. Can you come take a look at it really quick? I had uploaded into this folder. Is there a different one to look at?
You sure you loaded it in?
Yeah, it had Casey's caper presentation right there.
I wonder if what just happened.
Oh, do you think it impacted it
It might
before?
have.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, we're thinking that with the technology issue, that the upload of my presentation didn't load up, so I can go to my office really quick.
Have it via paper?
I do not have it
Can we show
by
it on the
paper.
overhead? No?
I don't have full slide paper versions, so I can go run and get a presentation very quickly.
Give us your best shot. I think we all kind of understand
for
this
it.
item to
Yeah.
begin with.
No problem. So, with a little bit of technical difficulty,
Hey.
my apologies, Mayor Lawson and members of the City Council. For the record, Sienna Reed, Planning Manager. For your consideration this afternoon is an amendment to the Sparks Municipal Code. What it would do is create an expedited process for the review of affordable housing projects. And It's important to give you a little bit of background. I know you've heard about Assembly Bill 213 a bit, but wanted to just note that this amendment is required to comply with the requirements of that bill that was enacted into law during the 2023 legislative session. Ultimately, the bill requires local governments to change a variety of practices related to housing. Specifically, we need to prepare monthly website reports that summarize our planning applications that have been received and whether or not they've been deemed complete or incomplete. We need to prepare annual housing reports that are submitted to the Nevada Housing Division. Those address a variety of different requirements. Some of those are things like an inventory of affordable housing, an inventory of housing conditions, and land that's suitable for residential development. Importantly, the city has already implemented the monthly website reports, and we've also submitted our first report to the Nevada Housing Division. But what we haven't done is adopted that expedited process for the consideration of affordable housing projects. And so to satisfy the requirements of AB 213, what we need to do is adopt an expedited process that specifically deviates from our currently adopted procedures. And the code amendment before you today would create that specific expedited process that is different than our current procedures. So what are we changing or proposing to change in the Sparks Municipal Code? As it stands today, for the most part, new affordable housing units are constructed within multifamily buildings, and as currently adopted, the city's zoning code either permits multifamily buildings by right or with an approved conditional use permit or CUP. And we have two uses that really regulate multifamily buildings. One of those is for multifamily buildings that are 110 units or less. That use is permitted by right in our multifamily and our mixed-use zoning districts, as well as our C2 and TC zones. However, this use does require an approved conditional use permit in our C1 zoning district. And then when we look to our next use, that is multifamily buildings of 110 units or more, this use is only permitted by right in our mixed-use zoning districts. And as a CUP is required in a broader range of districts in our MF3, our MF4, our MF5, C1, C2, and TC zoning districts, that is a process that more applicants need to go through in those zones. You're aware that our conditional use permit process does take a little bit of time. It takes 65 days to complete, and then there is a requirement for a noticed public hearing. So to expedite the processing of affordable housing projects in a manner that deviates from our current code requirements, the amendment that you're considering today would remove the requirement for a conditional use permit in the zoning districts where it's currently required if a multifamily building project meets three criteria. Projects must include income-restricted units that are first offered to qualifying households earning no more than 80% of area median income. Second, comprise a minimum of 20% of the total project units. And third, have an affordability period of at least 20 years. And again, those changes would apply to both multifamily buildings of 110 units or less and those that have 110 units or more. While the proposed code amendment would eliminate the requirement for a conditional use permit, the administrative review process that you're also familiar with would still be required for all new multifamily building projects. That administrative review process delegates decision-making authority to the administrator with appeals heard before the city council if one is submitted. And administrative review applications are reviewed by a variety of city departments and other reviewers. That includes planning, building, fire, engineering, environmental control, as well as a host of outside entities should they desire to comment. And that process must be complete within 30 days of submitting a complete application. So it goes a bit faster than a conditional use permit. It is staff's and the Planning Commission opinion that the administrative review process does allow for an adequate evaluation of multifamily building projects and also satisfies the mandate from the Nevada State Legislature to adopt an expedited process that deviates from our current review procedures. Ultimately, the Planning Commission did consider the proposed code amendment on July 18th, and they did vote to forward a recommendation of approval to council. If I had a presentation in front of you, I would say you have a motion to that effect on this slide. But the recommended motion is to adopt Bill 2825 that would amend the Sparks Municipal Code, Section 20.02013 and Chapter 20.03 to establish an expedited process for the consideration of projects for affordable housing as mandated by Assembly Bill 213. With that, this is your last public hearing of the day, and I'm available for any questions that you have.
Mr. Dare.
Yeah, can the community still bring this to us for an appeal? It just process quicker? Or is this stuck in no appeal land?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to your question, Councilmember Dare, if an administrative review is submitted, it would be reviewed through the normal administrative review process, which is a 30-day review. And then after that process concludes, whatever the outcome, whether it's approval or denial, then there's an appeal period that takes place. That's a 10-day appeal period. And so if we were to receive an appeal, then we would bring forward that appeal to a city council meeting. So the administrative review process is faster than the conditional use permit, but not necessarily if there's an appeal submitted. We would still need to get that scheduled before the city council and get a staff report and everything prepared for you.
Because this is just one of the ways we can meet what the state's requiring, because we're just trying to find something that works within our system so we can find that. And then we expect, well, you can't necessarily know that. How do we compare to other cities on this? And maybe it's a bigger question that is interesting to know. But I know that obviously the state is trying to help us answer the question of affordable housing and all of that, and we want to find that answer as well. Maybe it would be nice to know where do we sit, what are some of the things we're doing, not doing, compared to some of our other cities, or I don't know. So it would help us because this is one that I think you guys did a good job of coming up with. It is a good one, actually, in my opinion. But there might be some other areas, because I don't think they're going to stop. I think the legislation is going to continue to look for some preemption type pieces, and it'd be nice that we're ahead of that game. So, thank you.
If I could, Mr. Mayor, just very quickly, certainly each local government is addressing the requirements of AB 213 in terms of the expedited processing a little bit differently because our codes are different. But I did want to note, we do have an affordable housing audit going currently. That study is going to be looking at our comprehensive plan, our zoning code, and saying what are additional measures that we can take to support affordable housing. So that will be coming before this body. And we're very much looking forward to that to help answer some of the questions that you've just raised and hopefully get out ahead of some other issues that could come up from the state.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Diane.
Thank you, Sienna. I just want to make sure that I fully understand, because it looks like what the state wants us to do is just expedite getting affordable units to market faster. So doing it through administrative review. So if I understood you correctly, it doesn't matter the number of units, so it can be 110 units or more, as long as they're 80% AMI, 20% of those projected units meet the AMI, and that they have a minimum of the 20 years affordability, correct?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that is correct,
Okay.
Councilmember Vanderbilt.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Paul?
Thank you for being flexible today and working without your tools. But just want to ask, as far as these affordable projects, how many do you typically see in a year, a month? How frequent is it that these are coming before us?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to your question, Councilmember Anderson, it does vary year to year. I would say in a good year, maybe we would see 3 affordable housing projects. Sometimes it's less, but we would hope that the code change before you today would, provide another avenue for folks to, bring forward affordable housing projects and have them reviewed in a slightly faster timeframe.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Yeah, it's my opinion that this was directed at a particular entity. And we all got scooped up in the battle here, which is just more unfunded mandate from the state, which I hope they can hear that part. Unfunded mandates are killing us at the local level. So you guys did a great job thinking outside the box. Very happy with that. All right, with that, I'm going to call this a public hearing. Anyone in the public wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll bring it back, and I'm looking for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion.
Go ahead.
I make a motion to approve bill number 2825.
Okay, we got a motion, looking for a second.
I'll make the second.
Second. I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Sienna, for working without a net.
Thank you.
Comment from the public. Anyone in the public wishing to comment at this time? Seeing none, we'll bring that back. Announcements from the mayor, city council, city manager. Mr. Manager, you got anything?
Nothing today.
Thank
Thank you, Mayor.
City council, you have anything?
Mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to request the city manager bring back an item for a potential amendment to the Sparks Municipal Code that provides the city council the opportunity to direct the city manager to initiate a code amendment respective to the locations manufactured home dealers are permitted in Sparks.
Okay. Ms. Bybee?
I would just like to give a shout out and thank you to all the first responders. I know our fire and police have both been instrumental in addressing the Davis fire right now, and really prayers and thoughts to all those impacted, to all of the responders, whether they were Sparks or other cooperating agencies, to address a fire that's literally just down the road. So really thinking of them and the people that are impacted, and I think this community as a whole, this region, is supportive not only of everyone fighting those fires, but of people impacted, and is generous, and we will help people get back on their feet. So shout out to all. Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Donald?
Just want to say a reminder for anyone that wants to come out, help us with our go bag stuffing for AARP, September 25th here at 8:30 at our downstairs training room. And then also, we've got Tremendous Sparks still going on. A week from today, we're giving out vouchers. So get there early. I know we sold out real quick last time.
An hour.
Yeah, so get there early. Just a reminder for the community.
Okay. Is that it? All right, nothing from the mayor. We're on to number 13, adjournment.